Well, good thing I brought the leaf blower. I think I need some cows. Look at all this stuff. Isn't it beautiful? Bought that rolling harrow for I think 2,700 bucks, and I used to use it behind a field cultivator, and now I can use it to roll down cover crops. It's not any roller crimper for sure, but if the cereal rye is nice and tall like this, it'll pretty much kill it. I'd say I'm getting probably 90% of it, and then when I pull the planter across this, it'll further knock it down. If I made a second pass on it, it really lays her down. It's just like a carpet. Look at all that. Feeding the soil and the microbiology and protecting the ground over the summer from heat, storms. It's beautiful. I'll have to get a shot of this after it's planted so it's more flat, but I assume the people that do my agronomy work and spraying, they'll probably prefer to spray it like this too. They can actually see what they're doing. It does plug up the radiator on the tractor. Typically I would plant this and then roll it, but I was waiting on seed yesterday and I thought, well shoot, I may as well try and roll some of it. And most of the time they tell you not to do that because when you plant against the way you rolled it, sometimes it can cause a mess. But I dropped the planter yesterday and I tried some and it seemed like it was going to work okay. Now it'll be my luck, since I've rolled the whole field, it'll probably not work. But yeah, isn't this beautiful? I love it. Saving probably, these are going to be enlist soybeans. I've had, oh, I don't know, a pretty bad thistle problem in this field from the, I thought it was the non-GMO soybeans, because after they come up you can't really do anything about it. There's some over there, but it seems like the Canadian thistles in this area are beginning to be more of a problem for everyone, not just me. And I've been doing some fall burn downs. I did a fall burn down the last 2 years on this, and then I planted the cereal rye. This cereal rye was planted at about 80 pounds per acre, I like to plant it thicker, plus it was later when I planted it, so hopefully I'm able to do this. By doing this with the Enlist chemical program, I'm probably going to save about $35 an acre on burn down. Well, if you take 35 times 54, what would that be? Quick math here, 54. That'd be almost $2,000, $1,890, and I paid $2,700 for this rolling harrow. And this isn't the first time I've done this. I did this once before, and back then I was new to it, and it was actually my first experiment, and I think that rye was just as tall, if not maybe a foot taller, and I was freaked out about planting it, and it ended up to be the best field I had that year. So I'm really looking forward to watching this over the summer. But yeah, with my Enlist program, probably saving $35 an acre. With my non-GMO food grade soybeans, I don't know if I'd want to try this, just because of my chemical program with that is mostly defensive and residual based. The idea behind it is start clean and then try to prevent anything from coming up to pose a problem. But man, wouldn't it be great if I could get to doing it with the non-GMOs like this? Is beautiful. And that program this year, with all the different modes of action with residuals and everything, I would say is probably $40 an acre or better. But yeah, this piece of junk rolling harrow I've had, just actually for what it is, has saved me a bunch of money. It's 32 foot wide. I wanted a 26 footer at the consignment auction, and it went high, and this was sitting there, so I started bidding on it. And it needs the hydraulics gone through. I can't fold it up anymore. It just has an internal bypass, and it's not the greatest shape anymore, but look at the money it's saving me. It's just beautiful and peaceful out here. Looks like there's Canadian smoke from the wildfires coming out the back of this, but it's just pollen going up in the air. I'm covered, the tractor's covered. It's a good thing I brought the leaf blower with me this morning. So I'll bet the roots on this stuff probably go just about as deep as it is tall. I know a lot of people use wheat as a cover crop, and I'm not a fan of that. I mean, if you already plant wheat in your rotation, you're really not adding any diversity. Plus, wheat has a shallow root system, whereas this is very deep, so it can help with nutrient cycling and also bring new nutrients to the top of the surface, as well as the biomass that's here. And you can kill it with the rolling harrow. I've never tried it, but I do believe that wheat does not roll crimp very well. So not only am I saving money on chemicals, but with the cereal rye, I'm getting deeper root placement, which roots, in my opinion, over time do a lot more good than steel does, and they go deeper. I don't know any tillage tool that can go, you know, 3 or 4 foot deep. So man, I need some cows. They probably wouldn't like this. It's all headed out and past what I would call optimal grazing, but isn't this beautiful? Peaceful. Sure beats looking at a desert all day and going home looking like a raccoon covered from head to toe in dust. Well, for me anyway, on a tractor with no cab. Man, I love it. So here's the thought I had. Just to compare, today is June 6th, I believe. If I were just now conventionally planting soybeans, and this field was wiped clean, didn't have anything growing in it, think of all the carbon and liquid sun I just pumped into the ground. It was green last fall where it would have laid fallow. It's green now and I'm just planting beans. So from when it warms up at the end of the March all the way to now, I've had something green and growing here, pumping carbon into the soil and feeding all the microbiology and earthworms and everything else, and helping with compaction. It's just beautiful. I like my non-GMO beans for the premium. Being a smaller farmer, it kind of helps me survive, because as a bunch of you know, that are farmers, I'm sure you probably are aware that the farm economy is kind of in a downer right now. But man, I would go enlist beans every year if I could plant them like this and save that chemical pass. I mean, I'm usually heavier on beans. This year I was going to be more 50-50 with corn, but now it looks like I'm still going to be about 200 acres of soybeans and maybe 100 acres of corn. I terminated my wheat, but let's just say 150 acres at $40 an acre. Well, that's $6,000 a year if I'm doing the math right in my head. That's a lot of money for a little guy like me. That's a ton of money. I mean, that's a payment on a piece of equipment like an I&J roller crimper. I think to get a 21 or 20 foot or 22 foot, however they do it, one of those I think is in the 20s. So I mean, I could buy one of those and it would pay for itself. But the trick with the cereal rye, in my opinion, in my own personal experience, a lot of people argue about the rates and how much to put on, and I prefer to sow it heavier because I'm trying to control the weeds. And I mean, see, even this in here, you can still see the soil. I would have liked this to actually even be thicker to suppress weeds and shade the topsoil, but there's guys that want to plant it really thin. Well, then it won't crimp well, in my opinion, if that's what they're going to try and do with it. But I prefer the heavier rate because it crimps better, it suppresses the weeds. And I don't know what a bushel of cereal rye is. I think I buy it from a friend and I get a good deal on it because he grows some, sells for seed, but I think last fall it was like 16 bucks an acre. And I think that was a bushel, 56 pounds. So we're talking 16 bushel at, let's just say 1.5, to get about 80 pounds. Granted, I did plant this later, so the rate was higher then. But say even if you plant a bushel an acre, 16 bucks an acre. Granted, if you're putting fertilizer on, just throw it in with the fertilizer buggy. Won't cost you anything to apply it that way. If you want to drill it, maybe add 10-15 bucks an acre for fuel and wear and tear. I don't know what the custom rates say it would be for custom, but it pays for itself, I would say. If you don't have to do a pass of herbicide, and you can plant into this beautiful stuff with all of this mulch that's going to hold water over the summer and protect the ground from pounding rains. And you know, with the beans, if you get a pounding rain, they can get crusted in and then you have to replant. Shouldn't have to do it with this unless you planted it and it turned off cold and it was early. I had to do some of that last year. But that 16 bucks an acre, let's just say 20 bucks an acre, and you're saving about $35 an acre on a herbicide pass with residuals or Enlist, 2,4-D, Roundup, Liberty, whatever you put in it. It's already paid for itself, and that doesn't even start to factor in all of the benefits, the soil health benefits that come with it. Well, I think I've done enough talking for now. I'm going to try and plant this and see if it's true what everyone says. If I plant against the way I rolled it, it's a mess. So hopefully it's not. Otherwise this 54 acres is going to be a nightmare. But I did drop the planter and try some last night over here. I rolled this way and I planted against it. And let's see, I went over it with the rolling harrow once or twice. But yeah, right over here where it's thick, you can see where the planter went. I didn't have any problem. It's right in here. I think, well, let's see here. Somewhere over here there's a row. But there is definitely one right here, so there should be one around here somewhere, unless I need to up the down pressure. but it went in the ground. So, and it didn't push everything like I thought it would. So we're gonna roll with it and see what happens. Wish me luck. I ran out of beans with a pass and a half left. So, getting some gypsum on here before the rain. Hopefully if I can get the rest of my corn planted for the second time, I'll be done with beans. Unless, of course, we have to replant something. Lovely.